Hello and welcome to another episode of One Shot Adventures, One Shots for Hire, whatever we're calling this. I am Genocide and I will be hosting the stream today. There we go. Forgot to tweet this out. I am just not prepared right now. Sorry.
Don't worry, I sent out a tweet. We're all good.
Okay, well, we usually have Adrian and Charlie here for these one-shots, but unfortunately, Mandy and Adam aren't here. I believe Adam is at the big D&D event today. I'm not sure.
Shut up. Awesome. I didn't know that he was there. Oh.
Yeah.
The stream of many eyes.
He's going to
Yes. He said he may get on camera, but I'm not too sure about that. But, well, in their place, in their place, we have our guest player, Diana, aka DnDiSnow, and our first ever guest DM, BerlingsBeard, aka Ken.
Hey! Thank you!
Yes, thank you for doing this. Okay, so, what we can do is go around and tell everyone something about their character they're playing, and then Ken can take it away from there.
Jenna, do you want to start? And then maybe we can go to Diana?
Sure. Sure. Okay, her name is Marilla Rialta, who Charlie kept calling mozzarella, marinara, but it's all good. She is a Water Genasi fighter who usually keeps to herself, doesn't have any friends except for the books that she takes care of, but is always there for you when you need her the most. And whoever wants to go next, go ahead.
Yeah, Diana, do you want to go next?
Sure. My character is Zira. She is a Phoenix sorceress. As such, she's also a tiefling. As such, people don't really like her because, not just for she looks kind of weird, and she also tends to start fires without meaning to.
Oh, no. Can you describe a little bit for us how she looks weird? Like, does she have, red skin? Does she have, purple skin? Like, what color is her skin?
Kind of orange.
Orange skin.
Very much of a phoenix. Like, orange, she has really crazy, curly, orange, reddish hair. Not even like a normal tiefling, just kind of odd for a tiefling, too. Like, really long, curly. She's just very odd looking.
And for her tail, is her tail very long? Is it medium?
It is odd, but it also kind of has feathers at the end.
Feathered tail, I love it. Does she have cloven hooves for feet, or does she have feet that have digits, like actual toes?
Actual toes.
Okay, cool. So she's like wearing shoes then. She's not like clomping around on hooves.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And her horns, can you describe her horns for us a little bit, please?
Her horns are just regular. That's the only part of the tiefling is regular. She's regular. They curl back.
Like a ram. Like a ram?
Yeah, just kind of like a ram.
All right. Or a goat.
Yeah, more like a ram. And
they're a little bit of a curl. They have a little bit of a curl then?
Yeah, a little of a curl.
Great. Thank you so much. Awesome character. Charlie, do you want to go next, please?
Sure. I'll be playing Mina Dubel. She is a tiefling paladin of Lara Joy. She's looks like every other tiefling pretty much. She's a normal looking tiefling. Dark red skin.
So does she have pointed teeth?
Those fangs.
Awesome. I love it. That's awesome. And you said that Mina worships a goddess or god of water. Is that right?
Joy.
Goddess of joy. I must have misheard. I apologize. And can you share with us the name of this goddess, or is it just simply sort of a more of an ephemeral sort of joy?
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay, great. Could you say it one more time, please? Could you say it one more time? Lyra. Love it. Lyra, the joy bringer, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Love Lyra. Lyra is one of my favorite goddesses. I'm actually playing a paladin of her in a Chult game that I'm in as well. So good choice.
Oh, cool.
And last but not least, Adrian, can you please tell us about your character?
I can. My character is an Aarakocra named Sticky Icky, but she just goes by Icky.
Nice.
She has sticky claws. She likes shiny things. She's very distracted by jewelry and things she thinks is pretty, just like any typical bird. She is flighty and airheaded, and but she's tiny. She's only about 4 feet tall, but she's a powerhouse when she needs to be, but also kind of a glass cannon.
That's right. And what kind of sorcery does she practice?
There's no specific box that she's in. She just tries to learn as many magical things as she can because she's just fascinated by this power that she has.
Yes.
And so she just tries to stick her feathers into all the little niches that she can.
Yes. And
because she's also airheaded, she's not focused enough to just stick to one thing.
Right.
So
and speaking of her feathers, what color are her feathers?
she is okay. Do you know what a peregrine falcon looks like?
I do.
Okay, so you know how they are bluish with like a white underbelly?
Yes.
Okay, so she is like that, but her blue side is more of a slate purple.
Oh, I love
like
it.
a grayish purple, and
Yeah.
with the yellow around her pretty eyes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what she looks like.
Awesome.
With the yellow legs and the big claws.
Awesome. Well, I will do the final introduction. I am Ken Breeze, BerlingsBeard. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram. I am a for-hire concierge DM in the New York City area. I really appreciate this awesome stream, letting me just sort of DM for you guys. I'm very excited about this. It's been sort of in the works for a little while, so we can jump right into it. We are playing a game in Waterdeep. You guys can see our map here that we're at the Sword Coast. Waterdeep is known as the Jewel of the North. It is a huge city. You can think of it like a San Francisco or a New York City, a Paris, a Tokyo, you know, anything that is sort of large, multicultural, very focused on arts and learning. Also, there's a very strong hand of law and order here, so there isn't a lot of crime. But the crime that does happen is very secret and sort of underground, as the case may be, maybe even literally. You all have traveled together. You've been traveling together for a while. You traveled together to Waterdeep recently to sort of make your fortune. You have found your way, and we'll see a little bit more what Waterdeep looks like. Waterdeep itself is right on the Sword Coast. It is a main port city, a dock town, and it also is a main sort of trading area for up and down the Sword Coast. And so let me know once you guys can see the new map.
I see a ship with lots of castles.
Beautiful, good. Then you can see the gorgeous map, which is exactly what I had hoped you would be able to see. That is sort of like a visually sort of what Waterdeep looks like, right? It's a port town, a large walled city. It's been built out over the ages by successive collaborative lords of Waterdeep. The government of Waterdeep are these masked lords who meet in secret to determine the fate of Waterdeep. They meet in public as well, but when they do meet in public, they mask themselves so no one knows who they are, so they can never be bribed or found or blackmailed, so they keep themselves very secret. Also, it sort of is in Waterdeep, people say you never know when you're talking to a masked lord or not, because they could be anyone. However, your group has arrived in Waterdeep seeking fortune and fame, and you have settled down in what is known as the Trade Ward. I'm going to give you guys another sort of reference map now that you can look at that is Waterdeep itself. And it sounds like you guys can see that now, so that's great. So there are a number of different wards in Waterdeep. You can see them: the dock ward, the trade ward, the castle ward. The one I want to draw your attention to is in the north of the city. It's the newest ward. It's called the Field Ward. It's been actually created outside the inner walls and inside the outer walls. So it's sort of like where there used to be nothing. It just was like a no person's land, no man's land of like just flat sort of earth. Now this sort of like, the best way I can put it is shantytown has sort of sprung up. So that's sort of the latest development in terms of Waterdeep's society, is that obviously there are tons of nobles here, tons of royalty, many delegations from other kingdoms, other cities that come here. There are tons of merchants, tons of traders, tons of people from other lands that come here. It is just a melting pot of all these different types of cultures and types of people. So whereas your group, doesn't really have anyone who's like a human per se, you don't feel like you're being sort of given too much of an eye by others, because there are so many people here of so many other races. Though I will say that Sticky Icky does stand out a little bit. I wouldn't say there are as many maybe Aarakocra here as the other races. There are definitely tieflings around. They're rare, uncommon. Obviously, half elemental water genasi, also very rare. So you guys do sort of have the air of people interested in what you're doing, just because your group does stand out a little bit in that so many sort of fabulous sort of people have come together. So you do have this sort of vibe where people are interested in what you're doing. You yourselves have been taking your rests at an inn in the trade ward called Madame Friona's Tea Kettle. Madame Friona is a matronly halfling woman, and she and her 5 daughters have basically been running this place for years. Her daughters have a range of age from sort of like, I would say, like a 14, 15-year-old at the bottom end to maybe like a 23, 24-year-old at the top end or so. They're about 10 years range in between all 5 of them. And so they are sort of fixtures in the common room. They help obviously clean the rooms and do different things like that. The 4 of you are in Madame Friona's tea kettle currently, and you are having some like drinks basically at night. It's been like a long day of you sort of like touring Waterdeep to sort of see where there might be work for you. You have heard that there are some possible jobs with the City Watch. There's a difference between the City Guard and the City Watch, just to let you know. The City Guard is more like an army that occupies the town. They don't really come into local disputes often. And then there's the City Watch, which are the people who are walking the streets and keeping each ward safe. The City Watch is very concerned because there's been a spillover of gang violence, of just this outpouring of sort of the criminal element of Waterdeep in the daylight streets. There have been murders, there's been brawls. It seems as if something is happening in the underworld that is causing these sort of more shadowy conflicts that stay normally out of sight to burst out into public view. And so the City Watch has sort of been hiring freelancers to sort of help out with investigating, as well as sort of bringing people to justice, as the case may be. Your group hasn't been able to find any work like that yet. There are many other people who are trying to make their fame and fortune here. And you're getting the sense that those people who are getting the jobs here actually have like either friend connections or family connections, or they're from here. It's tough for you ladies who are sort of from outside this place. I mean, it is very welcoming to outsiders and to foreigners, to new arrivals, to travelers. But you do get the sense that you don't have like that social net, that social network that might help you out more here. So you sort of, it's been sort of a disappointing day, honestly. And you're sort of back at the bar, as it were. You're in the common room. You're being served drinks and any sort of refreshments that you might want. Charlie, what kind of refreshments do you think would sort of Mina be enjoying?
She's kind of on the younger side, like 17, 18.
Yes.
So she doesn't really like alcohol that much.
There is a fabulous sort of rose tea that they have. It's both chilled and hot that they serve here. As you know, Madame Friona's Tea Kettle is the literal name of the inn. They are famous for their tea. It is almost like a tea house to some degree. Many people come here for that. So is that something you think Mina would be having?
Oh yeah, totally. She would have that. Hot.
Iced or hot? Hot tea. Sweet. So you're definitely getting served some hot tea. And how about for our good friend Frialta? What is Frialta having in terms of refreshments? Sorry, that's your character, right, Jenna? Did I say that name wrong?
Oh, Marilla.
Marilla. My apologies.
It's okay. I've heard many different things.
What's her last name? I thought is her last name?
It's Rialta.
Rialta.
Marilla Rialta.
Oh.
They both literally mean water.
Awesome.
water.
So, Marilla. I apologize. What is
okay.
Marilla having?
As wonderful as the alcohol sounds, I feel like she would go for the rose tea as well to keep her just calm and content.
Cool.
Mainly for her voice, so it soothes her throat.
That's very true. Is that going to be iced tea or hot tea?
Hot tea. Yes, for her.
Nice hot tea, indeed. And how about for our other good friend, Zira? What's Zira having for sort of the refreshments that are being served?
She will stick to the hot tea as alcohol burns very quickly.
Yes. Indeed.
Right.
And last but not least, Icky. How about for our sticky Icky?
So what is the sweetest thing on the menu?
Sure. The sweetest thing on the menu would likely be some Amian brandy. It's like a port that they have that they bring up. It's from far to the south, the land of shadows. And it is sort of this brandy that is, it almost is like, the best way I can put it is it's like a maraschino cherry, but replace cherry with like a pear. So it's like this really sweet pear brandy.
Okay. Yeah, that is exactly her flavor.
Awesome. So you guys you're sipping your drinks. It's sort of, like I said, sort of been a disappointing day. One of Madame Fiona's daughters, who she has this sort of very sort of it's she's gone white-haired, like sort of prematurely. She is the oldest daughter. She's like 23, 24. And she goes by Liesel is her name. And so Liesel has this like sort of really thick white hair. Again, she's a halfling, so she's even shorter than you are, Sticky Icky, even though you're only 4 feet tall. Liesel is probably more like 3.5 feet or 3 3/4, 2/4, 1/4 rather. But she's dressed in a fairly common sort of almost like a serving dress. She does have an apron on as well. Her hair, though, is sort of wild and everywhere. And so she's just sort of serving the tea and the brandy, and she's sort of serving you guys up. And she says, "Oh, it looks like there are some frowns here. Are you okay? Is everything all right? You're not running out of money."
No, we have money, but we would like more.
It's just been a bad day.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it. Can I get you some scones maybe on the house?
Yes.
Yes, please.
That would sound lovely, thank you.
She nods.
I
and
wouldn't
she
call
says,
it a bad day.
"Oh, there were some good things then? Some light you found in the world?"
With my friends. Why wouldn't it be a good day?
And she nods at that and saying, it is always a good day if you have friendship around you. That is true. Let me get those scones for you, ladies. And she sort of scampers off.
Thank you very much.
The common room itself is actually pretty empty. It is a little bit like it's like basically after work. So it's like it's more like people come here probably for afternoon tea or for high tea, or they're going to show up here later to drink more of the alcoholic infused teas that happen probably a little bit later in the night. For now, though, it's sort of like that dead period where almost like a swing shift where like no one's really here. You can see that there are some other travelers. You can specifically see there are 2 men in gray cloaks. They seem to have a lot of mud on their boots. They seem to be clean shaven, both wearing their clothes sort of in the same style. They may be from the same kingdom or some sort of trading house or something like that. You're unsure. They don't look like warriors per se, though they do seem to have maybe daggers at their belts. You also see that there is a dwarven woman here who seems to be very focused on reading some sort of book or something like that. And so she's drinking tea and just reading a novel or a tome. You're not exactly sure. It is a smaller book, like it's not like a big tome. It's like a pretty small, like almost like paperback sort of sized book that she seems to be reading. It does seem more like a pleasure read, a novel. And you can see that she has this very dark hair. She is dressed in the clothes of a traveler as well, though she doesn't seem to have any weapons. But you guys should all make a perception check, please, at this point. And I'll just go around and ask, how about for Sticky Icky? What'd you get on your perception?
Oh, hold on. Give me a second.
No problem. I'll just move on to Zira.
Sorry.
Do you need the roll 21?
No, just tell me out what you got. You can just tell.
Because I have to use the roll 21 to get
That's totally fine. Totally fine.
Let's see. 4
Got
plus
8.
2.
What was
got
that, Zira? Zira, what did you get? 18. Great roll. And how about for Morella?
4 plus 6.
Mighty 6. And for Mina?
16.
Nice roll. And how about then last but not
I got a 14.
14. Oh, great. So Morella, you're really the only one who seeing this. You sort of are burning your lips a little bit on the hot tea, so you're sort of having to look down at the tea and blowing on it and making sure that it, you're sort of cooling it off. The rest of you guys are sort of eyeing the rest of the room, just sort of whatever, people watching. And you're realizing that this dwarven woman, that her hands are really calloused. It does look like she probably has wielded weapons in the past or is very familiar with what it means to be a warrior or something like that. Though she doesn't have any weapons or armor on, you see. As you guys are sort of casting your eyes around the room, basically the door to Madame Friona's tea kettle bursts open. It is a very rainy night. It's cold. It's sort of the fall, actually, in Waterdeep right now. You guys have sort of been lightly soaked and you've been drying out here. You've been having some hot tea to warm up, or even some brandy to warm up. And so you guys have sort of been, shaking out your clothes and getting dry over the last hour or so. And so as this door bursts open, like there's a gush of wind and this rain sort of comes into the room, and you see sort of silhouetted against sort of the lights, the bleary lights of the City of Splendor's Waterdeep. You see a small-sized figure. It looks like a man, and it looks like maybe a gnome. He has a shock of like this electric blue hair that seems to be just drenched on his face. It's in like really curly curls, like all over his face. He does have what looks to be like a leather, almost beret on. He is dressed obviously as a tinkerer, some sort of tinker or a mechanic or something like that. He has obviously like a strap of tools that are sort of on his chest. He's wearing what looks to be like a half smock, like a leather smock, almost like a half apron that goes down to his knees. He has really big boots on that looks like they could withstand maybe like embers or hot metal touching them so they wouldn't burn or something like that. He obviously seems to be a craftsperson, a tradesperson, maybe even a traveler of some meaning like someone who doesn't actually have a shop, but they travel around to different shops to do side work or something like that. Because he doesn't seem to be dressed in really finery. He looks like a real working class guy who's out there on the streets, probably making his life for himself. But as he sort of bursts in and he's sort of looking around, he sort of zeroes in on Liesel, who's bringing back your scones, and he basically rushes towards her. Rushes towards her. And I guess at that point, why don't we all just roll insight checks, please? Awesome. How about for our good friend Morella? What did you get?
I have 16.
Great roll. And how about for Mina?
10.
10. And how about for Icky?
20.
Nice roll. And last but not least, how about Zira?
15.
All great rolls. So Mina, you really got sort of the lower here with your 10, but even with your 10, it's very clear to see, very obvious to see. You all know this. This guy is worried as fuck. Like he is like his skin is pale. Whereas normally, you know, gnomes have a little bit more possibly of like sort of a tan or nutmeg sort of cast of their skin. He is blanched pale. His eyes are super wide. He seems really worried. For those of you who got above a 15, which I think is basically everyone else, you guys definitely see that he's been crying. Like he literally is crying at this point, like not like sobbing like uncontrollably, but it's obviously you see there are tracks. Maybe it's the rain, but you don't think so because he's had his beret on. And he has this big bulbous nose, and he's just sort of, he looks like he's in really dire straits as he sort of rushes in. And the other thing is that you get the sense that he's not rushing in to like attack someone or be hostile. He's not, that's not it at all. He's rushing in looking for help. And he's rushing to someone who he sees as a friend or someone that he recognizes, aka Liesel, and he's basically rushing at her. Is there anything you guys would like to do at this point? Anyone want to do anything?
Just want to listen.
Yep. Yeah, Icky's listening in. How about for Morella? Anything?
As much as I would love to go over and comfort him, I feel like that's not the right thing to do right now, so I'll just listen in.
Cool, you're listening. And how about for Zira?
I think she's just gonna push her tea a little bit closer just to offer it to him.
Oh, okay, very nice. And how about for Mina? Anything Mina's doing?
No, I'm gonna be like, what's the matter?
Cool. You're like, what's the matter? And Zira has her tea, sort of offering this guy upon you, and you all sort of like come together at the same moment. Liesel was heading towards your table. He's heading towards Liesel. You guys are sort of meeting up, and so he sort of stops basically right at your table. And Liesel's there. You guys are there, and he's just like, they took her. They took my daughter. She's gone. She's gone. And Liesel's like, what are you talking about? He says, the shadows, they took her below. And he seems to be like, I don't know who to turn to. I don't have enough money to pay off any of the freelancers. And the guards won't listen to me. They won't listen to what I have to say. He's sort of looking around. He says, Liesel, what can I do? Where's your mother? I must speak with her. And Liesel's like, Mutti is asleep now. She cannot come. I will wake her. And Liesel seems to be like just sort of overwhelmed with this. Like she doesn't know what to do exactly. It seems like she's going to turn to her mother. Mina, you sort of were engaging with him, and he sort of looks at you, and you are this, obviously this very imposing warrior. Could you describe for us what kind of weapons and armor you have?
I have full, like, plate mail armor.
Fuck yeah, you do.
It's gold, so it matches my eyes. And a giant, longsword I have.
Awesome. Yeah, you're in this full plate armor, golden sheened. You have your longsword, you have your shield, I assume, and you obviously seem like you know what's up. For Morella, could you please describe the weapon and armor that Morella is having on?
Sure. I have chainmail. It is concealed underneath a long, light baby blue kimono that I wear.
Nice.
So you don't realize that I am a fighter. I have a long sword strapped around my waist. I nicknamed it Nagiza, which also means water. That's Japanese for water. I also have a crossbow on my back. I named that Kelda. I think that was like Norwegian for water. But I also have a shield that's always strapped to my arm because I never know when I'll need it. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Awesome. Yeah. In your kimono, I'm getting the vibe that you're playing up your sort of like sage background where you look more like a sort of a learned sage in your kimono. Definitely someone from another land. Obviously, you are a water genasi, sort of half elemental, half water elemental. So you have this very flowy vibe about you anyways. And with the sort of, I'm getting the sense the chainmail is concealed and the sword is almost like sort of also going along with that sort of kimono? Is it almost like almost like a sword that's like a monk would use, almost like if they didn't have any other weapons, very long sword, very thin,
Yes,
sort of
like
like
it's like it's not really much for combat, as that was what she was taught to not be confrontational unless it does absolutely call for it. As
Awesome.
in, if your friends, your family, somebody very close to you is threatened, then you can use it. But otherwise, don't use it to start fights you don't mean to start.
Yes, indeed. And Icky, are you carrying any weapon or?
Icky's weapons are her talons.
Awesome.
So,
And Icky, do you carry a arcane focus or a spell component pouch or something like that?
not that I had. Oh no! Wait, yes, she does have feathers from her tribe around her neck.
I love
Some
it.
special feathers
That's
from
your
her
arcane
family.
focus.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
I love it. That's your arcane focus. The feathers from your tribe. They're obviously not
Yes.
yours, but important necklace that you're wearing. It's almost like an amulet, is what I'm
Yes.
sort of getting. That's awesome. And how about our good friend? Excuse me. For Zira, does Zira have any weapons or armor?
Zira does not have any armor.
Mm-hmm.
She does have a dagger, but it looks very clean.
Got it.
And a crossbow that also looks very new for some reason. But that's about it. And she has a crystal around her neck.
I love it. Yeah. Great. So her crystal, what color is the crystal?
It's like an opal color.
I love it. So like a flame opal or fire opal, or is it more of a?
Ooh.
Got it. Yes, I love it.
I love
Awesome.
it.
So you have this fire opal crystal necklace that you're sort of wearing. Is it set on a chain, or is it more like a leather band that's sort of wrapped around it and tied, and you're just wearing it like on a thong?
It's a chain because leather
Chain.
would burn.
Cool. Awesome. Yes, it would. Good point. Very good point. So sweet. It's some sweet fire-resistant chain that you've got on there. Indeed. Awesome. I love it. Thank you for those descriptions. The gentleman that's in front of you, he doesn't have any weapons or armor on. He just has a sort of his tools. They could probably be improvised weapons if they, but he's obviously not a warrior. You do notice that as part of his gear, it looks like that he has some sort of like, it almost looked like he had like a hearing aid or something on like that, and you're realizing it's like this metal thing that he might be able to like turn into like a magnifying glass. Like it looks like he does work with it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's sort of like this very interesting contraption that he has on one of his ears. And as Liesel leaves, she says, "Okay, Dorg, I will fetch Mother," and she runs off basically. And he looks at the four of you and says, well, perhaps I was meant to come.
How can we help?
Perhaps Garo Glittergold brought me here." And he says, "You seem to be freelancers, perhaps for hire? Yes?"
Yes.
Wait just a second. Did you not mention that you don't have money?
He says, "Well, I maybe don't have enough money to pay the prices of those who are well trained and well known, but you don't seem to be very well known. I don't know who you are. Who are you?"
Don't mind her. The payment will be the joy of having a daughter reunite with her father. Okay. How can we help?
And he nods and he says, "Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you have shiny things, we can talk.
He says, "Well, I have been working at the House of Wonder, the Church of Gond, the Wonder Bringer. There are some contraptions maybe I could trade, and they are due to pay me soon. I could offer you maybe 10 gold pieces each." As he sort of shrugs, he says, "But I won't be paid until Monday."
I can work for 10 gold. I can work for 10 gold.
He says, "However, I must have her back. It's imperative that her name is Drusella, my apprentice, my daughter. She was taken by shadows. I can show you where. we had been working on this potion together. I guess I could give it to you if you promise to bring her back.
I'm
What
gonna.
kind of potion is that?
Zira, you're sort of like, what kind of potion is it? And he says, we believe is a curative, a restorative. If you are wounded, it could help you.
Ooh.
I'll take it.
And he's sort of like ready to hand it off, and then he sort of like pulls it back. Are you trying to snatch it out of his hand, Zira, or are you?
I'll agree. I'll find her. I'll take it.
As you say, I agree. I'll find her. He does give it to you. He says, "Very well. I am Dorg Snapsnoot, and my daughter's name is Drizella Snapsnoot, and she was taken by shadows into the sewers. I saw where they went, but I couldn't follow. The door was locked, and I couldn't get in.
Let's go.
And he nods.
Yeah.
I will take you there now. And he basically leads you guys out into the rainy night. Anything you guys want to do before leaving the tea kettle?
Let's get some torches or something, please. I do not have night vision.
Actually,
If we are going,
in my equipment, I do have torches. That is
Ooh,
part
okay.
of my work, so we're good.
Okay.
We need 'em.
Awesome. Icky, you demand a torch, and Liesel provides you one. So you can write down that you have a torch on your equipment if you like, as you're basically given one. And then Dorg sort of like waves that like torch away, like that won't work. Here, take this. And he produces from out of a satchel. It looks like a branch, like from a tree, and then it has like a leather pouch that's on the top of it that makes it look very bulbous. And he basically is saying, take off the pouch, strike the rock against the ground, and it will glow. And he sort of hands it to you. I call it sun stick.
okay.
And you can write that down on your character as well if you'd like.
I don't mind this gentleman after all.
He says, quickly, I will take you to where she was taken.
Do you know anything about the people that took her?
They were
Can
shadows.
you give us-
They were shadows. They maybe they're part of the thieves guilds. I don't know. It is rumored that there is a city of thieves underneath Waterdeep, a place called Skullport.
Great. That sounds wonderful.
But the lords say it doesn't exist. But the people talk about it all the time.
I will calmly place a hand on his back, and I said, no matter where she is taken, we will find her, whether it's myth or real.
Morella, please make a persuasion check for me, and you have advantage on this roll. Please roll 2d20 and take the higher.
Okay. And then I get it's persuasion.
That's right.
So it's 19.
Well done. He definitely calms down, and he seems to take strength from your words as he nods and sort of wipes his tears away and says, "Okay, I am so thankful to you. You don't know how much this. If Drizella, she's all I have, really, and in terms of family, and we don't make enough money. The guards wouldn't listen to me." And he sort of says, but I will take you there. And he sort of goes out into the night. You guys follow him. It is a very rainy night again. That's not too windy, thankfully. Though since you are on the coast, it can get like super windy and squally. But that normally happens in the winter rather than the fall. Right now, it's just super wet. And it's like super... So there's a lot of mist that's everywhere. So you guys are like, sort of like your legs are sort of going through like this underlying mist that just seems to be up. It's very foggy out. There are, Waterdeep is a very metropolitan, cosmopolitan, well-to-do, and technologically advanced city. So there are magical flames that are either on different city corners, and Waterdeep is very well known for guilds. And so there is a lamplighters guild that they go around every night and light the lamps in the city. You know that you're in like more of a rundown area if the lamps have been broken by the people who live there. That's normally in the dock ward where that is, and in the field ward. All the other wards are very well lit by lamps or torches, lights coming out from windows from many establishments. And you guys basically are able to he says that he wants to take you north. That he wants to take you north to the field ward, which is where this happened. You can either travel by foot, which would probably take an hour, or you can jump on like basically what's like a streetcar, but they're not like run by electricity or or steam or anything. They're pulled by these large horses, and they're called drays. They're like basically 2-story wooden streetcars that you can get on, but they cost money to ride on. They cost about 2 silver each to ride. Would you guys like to travel more quickly on the dray, or would you like to walk and save some money?
They're double-decker horse-drawn cars.
That's right.
That is so cool. Wow.
And it's just like a double-decker bus, like an or something.
Right.
Like someone waiting to take your ticket or take the money, as the case may be, who's like on the back.
Would probably fly if she can.
So she'll fly up by herself. She'd be leaving her party, and also she wouldn't really know where Dorg is.
She's not going to. She just doesn't like to be confined.
Got it.
So she doesn't want to ride in the thing. But anywhere they go, whenever they're out in the open and she always flies. But she's not going to leave. She's just going to fly over the party with whatever they choose.
Got it. Well, what is the rest of the party choosing? Do you want to walk or do you want to take the ride?
You want to go for the cart?
I'll pay
we
for
can
it.
get there as quickly as we can.
All right, we'll go for the cart.
It is 2 silver for each person who will be on the double-decker dray. So that's 4 of you, including Dorg. So that's 8 silver pieces. How are you paying for that, Zira?
I'll just give the driver gold.
Awesome. Yeah. There's a ticket taker at the back. You give him a gold, and it's a human. He's probably like 30s, like early 30s. Just dressed like a ticket taker. He's got a little hat on. He's sort of well-to-do, but a little disheveled. He's got a bow tie and suspenders. And he's like, "Oh, a dragon! Big spender." As he looks you up and down, Zira. He seems very drawn to you. You as a tiefling, you just have this sort of like allure that people who are not tieflings are sort of just drawn to. And he sort of says, "Would you like your change in silver or copper?"
Just keep it. Just get us there quickly.
And he says, "Oh, a tip! You got it." And he keeps the money. He doesn't give you any money back, but he definitely understands that you want to get there much more quickly. And so they definitely put a little bit of pep into the large draft horses that are pulling this thing, and they definitely get you guys there in about 20 minutes as you just zip basically to the north of the city. You are right where the walls basically are rising up, where you'd leave the inner walls of Waterdeep to go out to the field ward. Dorg is leading you guys. In general, as you get off the dray, as you get off the town car, the street car, what is your party marching order? Who's in the front? Who's in the middle? Who's in the back? Just generally. We don't need to be very specific. If you're in the front, just raise your hand, I guess, if you want to be in the front. Charlie, I can't see you, but you have a shield.
I probably jump out first.
So I'm getting the sense that Mina, you're in the front. Is that right? Or did I mishear that?
No, yeah, it's right.
Okay, Mina is sort of in the front. Who's sort of in the middle?
I'll be in the middle. I got
Great.
the shield. I can jump out if I need to.
All right, Morella, you're in the middle. With you, Mina, in the front is Dorg. He's leading you guys. He's in the front with you, like leading you. He moves slower than you guys do. He doesn't move at speed. He moves a little bit slower than you. So you guys are having to slow down a little bit to catch up, to let him sort of stay with you. So does that mean that Zira and Icky are sort of in the back? Is that right?
Icky is flying in the back. Yeah.
Flying in the back. Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. So you were sort of 10 feet up, Icky. You're flying. People are pointing at you like you are a spectacle. Like people are like, "Whoa!" Like they're people are talking on the street. Like you are very noticeable. You stand out. You hear people whispering things about the faraway land of Chult, the jungle land where they heard that flying bird people live. So there's a bit of a buzz as it were, even through the rainy streets as you guys sort of get to the walls. You can see that there are the city guard at the walls. There's even some city watchmen sort of patrolling the streets here as well. The city guard don't seem to mind you guys at all. You can walk right through. They just sort of look at you, but they maybe pause and look at Icky, who's flying around. But again, no one's giving you any trouble. No one's like stopping you or anything like that. Dorg is obviously very, very much wanting to get where he needs to go, where you guys need to go. And in short order, he basically leads you out into the field ward. It is nasty out here. It's like really sumpy. So it's like your boots are your shoes are like sort of squishing into like just mud. There's no really paved streets here. There aren't really any amenities. This is like the rough and tumble part of town for sure, where there are less lights. In fact, the Lamplighters Guild doesn't even come out here, so there aren't any lights. So as you guys exit the walls, basically, you do see the large outer walls that are probably about a mile from you. You can sort of see them in the misty distance, even though it's sort of a rainy night. You can see the bonfires that are sort of on top of it, marking it as sort of the perimeter. But as for the field ward, it is a shanty town. There are some lights here and there, but Dorg seems to know exactly where he's going. It seems like, in fact, that he lives here. You can definitely tell that his boots are super muddy, his legs are super muddy. It's not like he hasn't been here before. And so he basically leads you guys into the field ward, into these sort of like sort of rat's nest of streets. And he basically leads you to what seems to be an open sewer, like an open culvert. It seems like it goes down probably about 10 feet into the ground. And then there's like this overhang where it like goes into darkness. And he sort of is pointing down there and saying, they went down there. Our home is just over here. And he sort of points at this nearby shack. Though it does look like there is like a really funny sort of contraption that is a front door. It looks like it's almost like a cat door that opens and closes, or like a pet door. It seems to have springs on it and things like that. That seems to be where their home is. It is very near to this like open sewer trench, basically. And so he's like pointing down there that they went in there.
Are you guys sure you want to do this?
Down.
Yeah. We signed up
As
for
Icky,
it.
I mean, as Icky looks around and like she has her feathers like they're super close to her body because that's what birds do when they're like scared and uncomfortable. So she's like,
Fine.
looking around like, this is disgusting.
It is. It's basically a bunch of like sort of sewage sort of flowing down into the trench. It is sort of mucky, but you do see that it looks like there have been these, now that you're looking at it, and those of you who have dark vision can see this. Those of you without dark vision can't really see this, right? But those of you with dark vision can see it looks like there are these wooden sort of scaffolds that are on either side of the trench. It looks like they were part of the construction of it whenever it was dug out. So it doesn't look like you have to exactly like jump into the muck, but it is even the scaffolds are covered in muck. It's not like they're pristine.
Ew. Sorry, Icky is just disgusting. So what was it about the pet door that you were mentioning?
That
Is
looks
it
like
on their house?
Yeah, it looks like it's the entryway to their home. Yes, it looks like their home is very close by.
That they use or that pets use?
That they use. It's their side.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Okay. So I guess Icky's going to turn to the rest of the girls and say, okay, let's do this. It's not going to get any cleaner.
I will protect you if I have to.
Sure.
Thanks.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, it sounds like the party marching order that's in effect will stay in effect. So Mina is in the front, Morella second, Zira next. Icky, you're going to have a problem. You can't fly
She's
down.
gonna walk.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to fly underground, unfortunately. As you guys sort of slide down there, I need everyone to make either a athletics or acrobatics check. Your choice. Except for Icky, who can just fly down to the
Okay.
fly
And
down
just
to the
land.
chapel and just land, exactly.
Okay.
15, 16.
Great roll. How about for Zira?
15.
Great roll. Mina? I'm sorry, could you say that again?
17.
Great. You guys are all fine. As you sort of like slip slide down, you grab onto some what look to be like roots that are here as well to sort of guide your travel, and you're able to sort of easily land right on the nearest scaffolding that's wood. Thump, thump, thump. As you guys sort of thump down onto there. You definitely see the scaffolding continues into the overhang, basically. It's totally dark. Those of you with dark vision can see that the pathway ahead is probably about 10 feet wide or so, 15 feet wide, with about 5 feet of scaffolding on either side, and then 5 feet of sewer trench in the middle. You guys begin moving forward. For those of you without dark vision, you are entering a very dark space you will not be able to see once you go in.
Yay! Is that just me? Am I the only one who can't see down here?
I don't think I can see either, so you and me.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, so at this point, Icky's gonna take the cloth off of that rock stick.
Yeah.
And I guess she'll drag it along the wall.
Yeah, totally. She drags it along this. As you guys get to the overhang, you can see actually there's more stonework here. It actually looks like this might be some sort of possible actual made sewer in the past or something like that. Who knows? It seems pretty ancient, actually, the stonework here. And as you rock or sort of scrape the stone against the stonework, like parts of it even come out, sort of like little like grout comes out and stuff. But it does strike a spark, and your sunstone sparks, and it's like this bright light just sort of explodes and almost dazzles all of you for a second until your eyes adjust very quickly. And now you have 30 feet of bright light in every direction, basically. As you guys are able to see ahead, it looks like the sewer continues, but you guys are on the right side of the trench, as it were, and there's a left side, of course. The left side seems to continue on further straight, but the right side turns to the right, it jags right, after about 20 feet, it looks like. And so you guys are able to get down to that jag and sort of look, and it looks like the sewer doesn't jag right as well. It just continues straight ahead. But to the right, you see in the stonework, it looks like there is an obvious rusted metal door that is just right at the end of this stone hallway. It is incredibly stinky in here. It is sewage. It's gross as all fuck. It's like really gross. So trying to smell things in here is very difficult. It's overpowered by the stench of sewage. But other than that, it's just pretty mucky and nasty. But you guys definitely see the door.
Icky has a very good sense of smell, so this is just the worst possible place for her to be. Thankfully, this porch beside her is helping a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Mina, you are in the front. What would you like to do?
There's a door. Can I go through it?
You go up to the door. The metal door opens inwards. As you basically are grasping it by its like it's not even a knob. It's just like a handle. It looks like you just push on it. You go up to the door and you sort of push on it, and it seems like there's something blocking you, like it might be locked or barred or something like that on the other side.
Guys, I can't get in.
Well, I mean, we don't even know if it's safe to go through here. Can we look for any signs of any footprints or distress before we decide to go through random doors?
Definitely, Icky. Why don't you go ahead and make I think in this sense, I think we're going to do a perception check, please, Icky.
Okay. 6.
Awesome.
My keen eyesight is crap.
Yeah, you're looking around. There's a lot of different tracks here, especially for you since you're in the back and you sort of seen more of the tracks of your companions here. Okay. If there were tracks here, it looks like they were messed up by your companions sort of rushing in here.
Can any of you see anything? You've messed it all up. You mucked it all.
Can you tell what's blocking the door?
It's something. I can't push it over. Then something strong.
Not
I mean,
me.
Mina, you haven't applied as much force to the door as you could. You just gave it a push to see if it was locked.
Well, then can I try to?
You could definitely try and bash it down if that's something you want to do.
That's what I want to do.
All right, then go ahead and roll an athletics check. Anyone else want to do anything? As Mina looks like she's getting ready to throw her shoulder and throw her sort of strong form against the door.
Hold on. Can I?
Ew.
No,
That's
hold
open.
on. What is the door made of? Is it wooden?
It is rusted metal.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
All right, just real quick, Icky, anything you want to do?
No.
All right, how about for Zira?
No.
Okay, Morella, anything you want to do as Mina's
I don't
Smash
think there's anything I can do.
cool? All right, Morella, you're not doing anything, so Mina, could you please make an athletics check for me?
It was a natural 20 plus
Yeah,
2.
yeah! Burr, 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 burr. Awesome.
22 in total.
So you, oddly enough, you don't make a lot of noise doing this, which seems counterintuitive. But the reason you don't make a lot of noise is, yes, you do throw your heavily armored body against a metal door, but it seems like it's actually quite weak, like it's super rusted, and it seems like the bar, like the behind it, it doesn't seem like it was metal. It seems like it's wooden, and not only that, that it's probably like sort of like warped wood, and it just snaps basically as you bash through the door. Okay, awesome. As you guys smash through the door, you in a new place, and I will show you what you see in just a second. So I changed the map, everyone, and I'm going to reveal some area for you here. Let me know once you can see it. But basically, that is what you are seeing right now.
I love this little sketch.
And that is what you're seeing right now. So that's basically what you're seeing with the bright light that sort of you're showing. It's a very stone room. It's dank in there. It seems very cold, very wet, dark, and fetid. It does smell shitty in here. It does smell still like sewage. And not as heavily as outside the door, but definitely still stinks in here. And Mina, you were first through the door, or rather, you burst through. You sort of are standing now right about here, if you can see where this little circle is appearing. That's sort of where you're standing right now. Everyone else is outside the door currently in the party marching order that we talked about before. And so, Mina, as you burst in, you basically see this. You also see that it's very dark in here, and it looks like there's some sort of maybe metal chair or something like that that's over here. You can't really tell exactly what it is. You only see it sort of from the side. And then you see there's another door here on the other side. You also think that the room opens up a little bit more further, and as you've now bashed in, you sort of look over to your left, as it were, and you do see that the room itself goes in a bit further. Your dark vision shows you all of this. You see this room as you're looking around. It looks like there is a chair that is right in the center of the room, and it looks like there are jail cells that are all along the other sides of the room, and there's another door over here. It looks very similar to the door you came through, metal, but it is not rusted at all. It's very strong, it looks like. Additionally, this door over here is also metal, but it doesn't look as strong as the other one that you've seen. The chair, I will describe in a second. But what do you want to do initially, Mina? You're first in the door.
Is there anyone in the cells?
It sounds like you're moving over to examine. So you sort of move further into the room. Morella, you're in the door next. What are you doing?
I would like to just inspect the whole room, see if there's any traps possibly in the room.
Awesome, I love it. Please give me an investigations check as you are inspecting the room. How about for Zira? You're next.
It is
I'm going to come in and I'm going to cast mage armor on myself.
Can you
because
please?
I have a bad idea about what's going to
You got a
happen.
bad feeling about this? Yeah. Could you please describe for us what your magic looks like? What is happening? How does your magic affect the game world?
It looks like flames, but they're not. It just kind of wraps around and then just turns into like a it looks like armor, but you can kind of see through it. It just kind of adds some extra protection.
I love it. So you sort of invoke a arcane word of power. Your fire opal necklace glows for a second. Flames sort of unwreath your body, and then sort of almost turn into this, like it's like a breastplate that you're wearing of like translucent red energy. Is sort of surrounding you. That's awesome. It's sort of wavering still, almost like a mirage, because it looks super hot, like not sexy per se, but and hot in both ways, every way that you can consider it. So Zira, you basically cast a spell on yourself before you go in. Icky, how about you? Do you want to go past Zira, or are you sort of sticking out, waiting for her? What do you do?
No, Icky is terrified of everything. But she will hold up the torch high and see if she can see anything glinting off of the lights to see if there might be any treasure. Or
I love it. Please make a perception check for me, if you would. Okay, so I'm gonna resolve everybody. So in this room, it's obviously a prison chamber. It's very cold, wet, dank, fetid, and shitty here. You guys can see that it looks to you as if all of the cells are empty except for 3 of them. 3 of them seem to be occupied. One of them right here is occupied by this like super buff, broad-shouldered, like ripped out male tiefling. He has like elk horns that are coming out of his head. He's like chained up, like on a wall, almost like he's crucified or something like that. Like his legs are chained together, so his legs are super together. His arms are outstretched. His head is hanging down. He has this like lanky, sort of dark hair that's coming down that covers his face. He's shirtless. He's ripped out. He is like super, super, super hot. And
is he shiny?
It's so funny. It's so funny that you say that. It's so funny that you ask that, because yes, he is. It looks like he's been doused in oil. Like he's just covered in like oil. So he's like super shiny.
So he's a super shiny.
Yeah, he's just doused in like this oil, and he's like super shiny. And so you guys, those of you who are tieflings, you know that in some circles that it's a very like fucked up thing to do, to light a tiefling on fire, like to douse them in oil and then light them on fire, right? Because you sort of resist flame, but not all the way. So it's like this weird torture that you could actually do to someone. But yeah, he's doused in oil at this point. There's also 2 other occupants. One of them is in this cell over here. It is this, she is a elven lady. She seems to be a warrior as well. She's very lithe. It looks like that she's wearing sort of rags across her chest and across her midsection, or her pelvis, as the case may be. It looks like that she has been hurt like a lot. Like it looks like she's been whipped. It looks like she's been cut. It looks like she has been tortured, which goes very much along with what you're finding in this room that's shiny, Icky, and what you're finding, Mina, is that there is a chair that's in the middle of the room that seems to be a torturer's chair. It's a black iron chair that is affixed to the stone ground. It looks like there are straps on the armrest, straps where your neck would be, straps like for your legs. And it also looks like there's a small stone table next to it that have torturer's implements on it, like these blood-covered metal shivs and different hooks. That's what's shining, Icky, that you can see, basically. The other shining thing in here, besides the elven woman who I was describing, who has this sort of like honey-colored hair, it is actually been cut very short, sort of asymmetrically. So she has like this hair over one of her eyes, but the rest of it is cut very short. She looks like definitely like a tracker or a ranger or something like that. She's obviously an elf as well, though it looks like she's been very like preyed upon at this place. In the final occupied cell is over here, and this is the another shiny thing. It looks to you like it's the beginnings of some sort of clockwork man or clockwork figure. It's like straps are hanging down from like the ceiling, and it looks like it's like a chassis, like it's sort of there, and then it hasn't been connected to like the legs, but there's some legs there. It looks like something is maybe being constructed in here. And that's everything that you guys see in this room. With your 16 investigations check, or 15 rather, you definitely know, Morella, that all these cells are locked. Both the doors are locked. The torture implements look like they've been freshly used. It definitely looks like that this elven woman has been tortured recently, unfortunately. She's basically she's like chained up with both her hands on the wall. She's sort of sagging against her bonds, just like the tiefling guy is. And that's basically what you guys see. I'm going to go around and get more actions. What do you want to do, Mina?
I want to try to. I don't know.
Okay, we can
They're like criminals or not. Like, I want to get them out, but.
Cool. Yeah, you get the sense that I mean, it's possible you might be able to break these cells open, but the key obviously would be much easier to use to sort of get them open. You don't get the sense that you know how to open locks because you're not a rogue, but maybe, who knows? It's possible. Just because you're not proficient in something doesn't mean you can't try it. But you don't know how complex these locks may or may not be. So you're sort of looking around at that sort of stuff. Morella, what are you doing?
I'm gonna turn to Mina and say, did you want to open the cells?
Yes.
You do? I do have a crowbar in my backpack.
That would totally help.
So if you really want them open, I can try to break them open.
Cool. While you guys are talking about that, Zira, what do you do?
I'm going to check out the door that is across and see if it's open.
I apologize. The below door or the door on the right? The south door or the east door?
Not by the
south door or the east door? Sorry to just give me a direction.
That just lit up. The first door.
South door.
South door. Okay.
So if we're thinking that the top of the map is north and the bottom would be south.
Yeah.
Very good. The south door. So what are you doing there?
I'm going to see if it's unlocked.
Cool. Okay, you go over there to check it out. Icky, what are you doing?
I want to go look at, I want to actually gather and collect all of these torture implements.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. And you're definitely getting a very weird vibe in here, Icky. Because it's like, you can't fly here. Like, the ceiling is only about maybe 8 feet above the ground. So it's very hedged in here. Like, you don't get the sense you could fly away. You could, like, you're on your feet. Like, this is an uncomfortable situation possibly for you. Cool. Mina, Morella, are you guys open to cells or no?
Yeah.
Okay, which one do you want to open first?
Shall we do the elf woman first?
Get the tiefling out first.
It's your call, Mina. I'm following you.
She was obviously tortured.
Cool. So you guys head over to the elven door. Who's using the crowbar?
I'll use the crowbar since it's
okay.
fine.
Awesome. Just hold on just a second as the two of you go over to that cell, and it looks like you're about to bust it open. Icky is collecting the torture implements and putting them on her person. These could easily be used as like a dagger or something like that. If you needed to use them as a weapon, they wouldn't be improvised. Like, they are that sharp, they are that dangerous. You could use them as like a dagger, basically. Some of them you could even use as possibly as a dart that you could throw at someone, something like that. Anyways,
could any of them work as a lockpick?
Yes. Okay. Yes. You definitely think that these could stand in place of a more sort of professionalized lockpicking set. You definitely use these as improvised lockpicks for.
I want to get that tiefling out.
Awesome. So you're grabbing them, and you're heading over to that tiefling. I love it. Could you please make a perception check for me, Zira, as you're checking out the door?
Ooh. Well, it's a door.
8, did you say?
Yes, 8.
Okay, great. Awesome. Yeah, the door is not locked, as far as you can tell. It looks like that this door you could just push open. You give it just a little bit of a push just to confirm that, but you don't open it all the way. But yeah, that's definitely what you're seeing. For Morella, could you please make an athletics check with advantage as you are popping in your crowbar to just pop this
Sure. 9.
jail cell open.
It's an athletics check, you said?
That's right.
Okay, so 14.
14. Yeah, you pop it right open. And as you do, that's loud. It's like bang! As like this door pops open. It obviously the lock is just busted out. And the elven woman looks up. As she does, the door that Zira is in front of opens.
Oh gosh.
And revealed is this. You guys are sort of at your different places. Icky, you were by where the tiefling was. The others are over by where Zira's by the door. As you open it, you sort of see it looks like this is some sort of guard chamber or something like that. It looks like that there are a number of beds here and a table where people could be. This room itself is much warmer and drier than experience so far. Additionally, it looks like there's a weapons rack that's against one of the walls over here. It looks like you're not sure exactly what type of weapons are in there, but it looks like there's some big weapons in there. However, standing right in front of you is a male elf with like pitch black skin, tar ink colored skin. He is dressed, it looks to you, in studded leather armor. He has 2 short swords that it looks like are belted at his side, and he's just basically drawn the door open to like look at what the sound may have been. And you guys are looking right at each other. Behind him is another such dark elf who has a pair of short swords, as well as what looks to you like a red scaled like drake, like a 4-legged, almost like a mastiff hound, but it's covered in scales. It has red scales, almost like dragon scales. It has huge jaws, huge claws, and you guys are all surprised. And we should just all roll initiative at this point.
Oh, no.
Is anybody?
So let's do
More
that.
than a level
Let's
3.
roll initiative.
That was great. Oh, God.
Well, I'm going last. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, no, I'm going last.
Oh boy, it sounds like we're gonna have some fun. Awesome. So, what did you get from? Oh, mighty one, the mighty one. Love it. Love it.
I
Love
your
it, love
dice,
it,
by
love
the
it.
way.
Love it.
Thank you.
All right, let's go down the line. What'd you get, Mina?
A 2, but it's -1.
So 1. Mina
Gosh.
engages paladin speed. How about for Morella?
Mine is a 3.
Mighty 3. And how about for Zira?
It is also a 3.
Who wants to go first between you two? You guys can just choose. Icky, what's your initiative?
4.
4. Okay.
We're doing so well, guys.
So who's going first? Is Morella going first or is Zira going first?
I'll
go first. Okay.
Okay, hold on. So, who speaks Elven in the party? Or Elvish?
hold on.
Erendiel, can you come here?
I'm probably in another party.
Cool. So,
We can call
Zira,
cats, but not that part.
you definitely understand what's being said as the drow elf in front of you sort of draws his swords in surprise and sort of spits a curse, saying he basically says by Severtom's mask, and he says, and he sort of points at the drake, this red-scaled drake, and shouts, "Sick 'em!" in Elven. The drake seems to be surprised and doesn't run for it, but the drow definitely does unleash his weapons, and he attacks you twice. The first attack will be an armor class of 15.
It
That hit
hits.
you. Okay. You'll take 6 points of damage. And the second attack is even higher than that. You take another 6 points. Basically gets past your magical mage armor, and he's able to sort of like basically just cross stab you in each of the shoulders like that as you sort of stumble backwards. You're blocking him so he can't get out of the door to get into the room. So his friend basically, or his ally, also unsheathes both of his swords and runs up to be behind him. It is Icky's turn. Icky, what would you like to do? Icky,
Mage armor.
all right, you cast mage armor on yourself. I assume it's like a bunch of wind that's sort of flowing around you, or what does your spell look like?
Hers is like shadowy, like transparent, purplish feathers that just drape over her. It's like a cloak of feathers.
Yes, the cloak of feathers comes over you as you cast it on yourself. Do you want to move anywhere? Right now, you're basically just by this cell, right?
I still want to try to get him out.
Okay, well, getting him out would be an action, and you already used your action to cast mage armor on yourself. So you'll have to wait until next turn. So it sounds like
that is my focus, though. So
yep. All right, Morella, it's your go. What would you like to do? Just so we're clear, this is where Zira is standing. You could definitely attack this drow elf from either side of Zira. He will have a little bit of cover because he's in the doorway, but just to let you know, you could get to him if you wanted to.
All right, I'm holding up my shield.
Yeah.
Because this thing's very powerful that just attacked her. And I'm going to pull out my crossbow and try to aim at this. I'll just call it the little red dog that's trying to attack us.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make your attack as you shoot at the little red dog, sort of getting your aim set. It has a little bit of cover since it's further back in the room. It hasn't rushed forward yet. But yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
Okay, 15.
15 is going to be a success as you strike right into one of its shoulders, and it goes. How much damage do you do?
It is 1d8 piercing, so I do 3.
Don't forget to add your dexterity modifier, if any, on. Not sure if you have one.
No, I don't.
Cool. You do 3 damage as your crossbow bolt hits right into it. How about for you, Zero? What would you like to do?
So as my bonus action, I'm going to ignite one of my phoenix things, which is called a mantle of flame.
Yeah.
It wreathes my body in flames.
Yes.
Which makes a lot of light, but it also kind of puts about 5 feet of flames around me.
Yes.
And then I'm going to cast Burning Hands.
Awesome. Very cool. You totally do that. Go ahead and roll your damage. There are 2 of them that are there. So them. What's your save?
My save is a... Let me look. What was it? A 14?
14. One of them succeeds, one of them fails. How much damage do you do?
It is a 11 plus 4, so it is a 15.
Awesome. A lemon. Very cool. So the other one will take 7 damage for a save. Cool. And so you blast out with your flames. Flames are just enwreathing you. You basically are just standing there as all this is happening. One of them is you basically burn half his face off, the guy who's right in front of you. Like, ah! And he sort of like basically falls to a knee, trying to like put out his face. The other one is able to throw up his half cape and basically protect himself, though he also is burned, and they're just screaming in pain. Do you want to move or do anything like that?
I am going to step back.
All right. If you step back, you'll provoke an attack of opportunity from the one who's in front. You're still sure you want to do that?
No, I might stay.
Are you staying or going? Which is it?
I'm gonna stay.
Okay. Now, for the flame things that are around you, what is it? If someone starts their turn in that flame, or what's the deal?
No, just if they attack me.
They attack you. Got it.
They take 4 damage.
Understood. Thank you. Very cool. It is Mina's turn. Mina, what would you like to do?
I can talk without that being an action, right?
Yes, you could. Talking is a free action.
I try to talk to the dragon dog thing. The Drake dog thing. And
cool.
Draconic.
Oh, awesome. What are you saying in Draconic?
Let's see. If you get on our side, I can give you freedom.
You freedom, you get on our side. Okay, cool. I need you to make a persuasion check at disadvantage. 2d20, take the lower.
Plus 2. 11.
11. Cool. The dog seems to, or rather the Drake, seems to very much understand what you're saying. It's weird. You're like, oh crap, he totally understands what I'm saying. And it's like, and it's just this weird thing where it's like your draconic is definitely, it's almost like something is being, it's like the Drake is like remembering something. You give it pause. And if you would do me a favor and either roll a nature or an arcana or a history check for me, please.
Okay. What's my best? Okay, so they're all plus 2.
Great.
So
Which one are you going to choose? Just tell me which one, because that'll depend on what kind of information you get. I'm sorry?
history.
Oh, you rolled a 3? Awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, you're not really sure what's going on here, but you don't think it's come over to your side. But what else would you like to do?
Go after one of the drows with my
Cool.
longsword.
Awesome. You rush up with your longsword. Go ahead and make your. What's your total? I'm sorry if you said it. I didn't hear it.
16 to hit.
16 is totally a success. How much damage do you do?
No, 1d8 plus 2.
Yeah, 1d8 plus your strength, and you can smite as well. You're a paladin if that's what you do.
7 damage.
7 damage. Well done. Love it. Cool. Yeah, you basically stab right into him, and it looks like another blow like that would fell this drow. He's been half his face has been burned off. He's been stabbed in the chest at this point. He's barely on his feet. And we go back to the top of the round. The dragon dog, the Drake, has sort of been hanging out in this corner over here and is now sort of padding definitely more closely to the combat. But it's like a bottleneck. Like you guys are basically fighting at a doorway. No one can get in or out at this point. The Drake can't get close enough to you guys. But the drow definitely are right there. The first one who's in front of you, Zira, makes his first attack on you, hitting you and doing 6 points of damage. Are you still conscious?
I am.
Awesome. However, he takes 4 damage as it sort of burns back on him. And he sort of is like, ah, and he like drops his sword as his hand is burning, but he attacks you with his other sword, hitting an armor class of enough and doing 6 more damage to you. Are you still conscious?
Nope.
As you go down, the flame of your armor travels up his other arm, and he just ignites in flames, and it's like, ah! And just collapses, dead from all the fire that you've been pumping into him. The other drow, though, is alive. He steps forward over his burning friend. He steps over now the fallen Zira, and he's standing right over her body, right next to you, Mina, as he looks at you and sort of spits in Elvish, if anybody can understand that. He spits a curse, and then everything goes dark. You cannot see anything, Mina, as everything goes dark. It seems as if he's casting power. Yes, something happened. As you cannot see anything. In fact, everybody can't see anything, as this entire area basically becomes dark. And stuck in there is this drow and Mina, Zira's body, as well as the body of the other drow who's fallen. And it is Icky's turn. Icky, what would you like to do?
I am not in the darkness box.
No,
right?
you are not. No,
Okay.
no one's in there except Zira and Mina, right?
Okay.
Okay, well, I really can't cast anything in there because I can't see anything.
It's very
I'm
true.
going to work on getting this tiefling out.
Cool.
Wow.
So you're going to use your tools to try and get in there?
My makeshift thieves tools, yes.
Awesome, I love it. So go ahead and if you have a dexterity proficiency, you can add that to your roll. And you can add another +1 to your roll, half your proficiency.
Okay. Half my proficiency?
Yeah, +1.
Okay.
So
So,
your dex modifier, 7 is your total. It's not enough, unfortunately, as you're like, oh!
Okay. I wasted my turn. I'm sorry, you guys.
There's a lot of stuff going on. You know, it's cool. You're trying to get this tiefling out. But he's definitely is like looking up, and you could like lock eyes with him, Icky. And his eyes are like these smoldering like coals. And he sort of you as you see him, you realize like he has a look about him of like some sort of like tribal barbarian or something like that. That's the vibe that you're getting off of him. He doesn't seem like he's like some trained warrior. It seems like he's some sort of rager or something like that. As he just goes, oh! And starts like basically trying to like break out of his own chains. And he does as he crits. Ah! And he just sort of bursts out of his own chains and like collapses to the ground. And he's still sort of chained by his legs, but his arms are free now, and his like massive form is sort of like heaving as he sort of throws his hair back and like looks up at you and sort of says, "Raz is ready." And it is your turn, Morella.
Okay, is his cage open yet?
No, it is not.
Out. Oh, his
he's
cage.
out of.
Okay.
He's broken his chain.
And use my crowbar on his cage.
Go ahead and make a athletics check at advantage to try and burst the cage open.
Okay.
Ah!
Yeah!
He's
out!
Yes, he is. As you burst open there. Awesome. And cool. He definitely looks like he's ready to join you guys. As he sort of gives you sort of this nod. It's basically very impressed by you, Morella, and your strength. It is, at this point, Zira's turn. Zira, please make a death saving throw. Roll d20. Roll a 20 if you can.
I got it.
Right?
A what?
An 18.
18 is a success. Yeah, 18 is a success. So you are one success. If you roll 3 successes, stabilize. If you roll 3 failures, you will. Okay, Mina, it is your turn. You are in darkness. You are blind, but you definitely know there's a drow right in front. What would you like to do?
I'll just swing my longsword around and see if it hits anything.
Awesome. You're going to be rolling this. You're going to roll a disadvantage. Roll 2d20 and take the lower.
So, 4. 8 plus.
12 is not enough, unfortunately. You definitely feel like he basically bats away your sword as you feel it connect with something, but not in a damaging way. He bats away your sword.
Can I call to the puppy again? Puppy, help us!
You can, but it seems like your cries are sort of being drowned out by the sound of screeching metal as a jail cell is ripped open, by the sounds of clashing metal as you're fighting someone. You definitely don't think that it had heard you very well. But when you do hear it seems to be snarling and tearing. It seems to be eating something. That's what you hear. It seems to be snapping and eating something. You hear the snapping of bone. It's like a blah, 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 blah. It's like it is consuming something in there. You're not sure what. It is the drow's turn. The drow attacks you, Mina. And he'll roll a 18 to hit. And he'll roll a 24 to hit, which I think
18 doesn't hit.
18 is no good. 24 strikes you. As you take 16 points of damage as he sneak attacks.
Jesus.
Flip through your plate mail. Your golden plate mail and just shove one of his short swords right into your rib cage. And he's basically just like, you feel blood sort of starting to pour out of your side as he obviously has damaged you. And it is your turn, Icky. What would you like to do?
Oh gosh.
Anything you can do for this tiefling?
My gosh. Let's see. I already cast that. And I still can't see anything in there,
No, you cannot.
right?
No, you cannot. You can
Gosh.
attack blindly. You can make a throw or throw whatever at disadvantage. You can. I mean, technically, you could roll up there and like thunder wave, but you probably would hit Mina as well.
I mean, if I use Thunderwave, it would hit her anyway.
Yes, it would.
The way that one works. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Could I mage hand and feel like, well, I wouldn't be able to know what it's feeling.
No, you would
seeing.
not. Yeah, it does not give you sensory input. It only does your.
Oh.
What do you want to do, Icky?
Oh my god.
5, 4, 3.
Okay,
2,
fine. I'll just Thunderwave in there.
All right, you rush up
No,
with
okay.
Thunderwave.
No. I changed my mind. I'm gonna cast Hold Person and hope that I get the right one.
Awesome, I love it. So you, unfortunately for Hold Person, you do literally need to see them, so you can't do that. So we'll just default to Thunderwave. You rush up and Thunderwave in a panic. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, Mina, please. What is your saving throw DC, Icky?
It has to be 12.
12. Okay. The drow fails. How much damage do you do?
1d6. Let me.
I think it's more than 1d6 on a thunder.
I'm sorry. I was looking at Thunderclap. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I'm trying to help you out.
Okay. 2d8.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
2d8.
So 14.
14 damage. Very nice. And what did you get on your save, Mina? You have us in suspense.
Oh, sorry.
What was it?
15.
15 is a success.
You're fine.
You only take 7
you get
damage.
half,
You take half. So you're blasted, but you're not pushed backwards. The drow is pushed backwards. He smashes into the wall, and his concentration for the darkness disappears.
Yes.
He is now in this wall, basically, or in this corner, as it were, over here, smashed. It looks like you've fractured or broken one of his legs, like it's twisted at this odd angle, but he still has both of his swords up, and it looks like he's still in this fight for as much as he can.
Out, so.
And you see Zira passed out. Technically, Zira, you would fail a death saving throw since you were damaged by the thunder wave, since you're standing right there, unfortunately. So you're smacked by the thunder wave and you fail one of your saving throws. So you have 1 fail and 1 success. It is now Morella's turn. Morella, what would you like?
Can I see the drow now? Is he out there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to use my crossbow and try and hit him from where I am.
Go ahead and make your attack.
18?
18 is totally a success. How much damage do you do?
I do 4 points of damage.
Awesome. Yeah, the crossbow bolt sinks right into his chest, and he like grunts, and it looks like another hit like that, and he probably... But he is able to leverage himself back up, and it looks like he's just going to rush at Mina to try and take her out. But Zira, it's your death save. Zira, it's your turn.
I'm already out. The thunder wave.
Oh, you're out?
Okay, cool. Mina fell. Zira fell. Looks like he's going to rush Icky then. What do you get on your save, Zira?
I only got a 6.
6 is a failure. That's 2 failures. 1 more failure and you will die, unfortunately. Don't forget that you have a healing potion that you were given. You can't use it, but someone else could. Mina, it's your turn. You need to make a death saving throw. What'd you get?
A 6.
That is a failure. So you have failed 1, unfortunately, as you are bleeding. It is the Drake's turn. The Drake continues to eat the other drow, which seems to be what it's been doing. It's been eating the corpse. It is Raz's turn, the tiefling male, and he basically is trying to break out of his chains, but he's unable to, and he's like looking around for help, basically, to try and break these chains that are around his legs. The drow gets up and rushes right at Icky and at Morella, who are together over by sort of the jail cells. Icky, you're a little bit closer, so he attacks you first, hitting an armor class of 24, doing 6 points of damage as he cuts through your shoulder. He rushes past you, and you may attack him with your claws as he rushes away from you and at Morella.
Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to remember what that
I'm keeping my shield up.
1d4.
You need to make an attack first. Roll d20.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Make your claw attack.
Well,
What'd you get?
my d20 was only a 6, so I don't.
Unfortunately,
hit
your
him
claws, as you reach out to try and claw him, he's able to duck underneath, but he bounces right off of Murray's shield, unable to get past it. And it is Icky's turn. Icky, what would you like to do? You see
Poison
two of your
spray.
friends on the ground bleeding to death. You definitely think Zira is going to die very soon if she doesn't get help.
I'm gonna poison spray this son of a bitch.
Okay, cool. So it definitely looks like Zira's going to die soon if she doesn't get help. And you turn around to spray him. Is that right?
Well, yes.
Okay, cool. He makes his save
Damn
as he
it.
does not inhale the poison. It is your turn, Morella. What would you like to do?
Okay, he's like right in front of me, basically.
Yeah.
I'm using my longsword on him.
Go ahead and make your longsword attack as you unsheath it, shing, and just sort of come down.
16?
Totally a success. Please describe for us how you defeat this creature.
Alright, is he basically like on the floor after he hit my shield?
Yes.
Like he just okay, so I'm just gonna unsheath it, do like a little 180 turn with it, and then just pierce him right through his heart.
Nice. Like drop right through him, exactly. He's like, ugh, and just sort of goes
Just put
limp.
my whole body weight into it.
Cool. Zira, I need you to make a death saving throw. Roll high.
I got an 11.
That is a success.
Oh,
You continue to survive. Mina, make a death saving throw.
Oh, sorry.
A 7.
What did you get, Mina? 7. That is another failure. 2 failures for Mina, unfortunately. Both Mina and Zira are in death's door. It is your turn, Icky, as Raz crits again and breaks out of his leg irons. Roar! And just stands up.
I
Just
know, right?
heaving.
You're late.
It is your turn, Icky. What would you like to do?
Okay, so
There are no more enemies as far as you can tell. The Drake has been eating the drow. It's not coming. Your friends
Okay.
are definitely dying, though.
okay, so I'll get the potion. Is there enough for me to split it between the
No,
both of them?
one or the other.
Oh.
A 1.
How many hit points does it? I guess I wouldn't know how many hit points it was.
You don't know how many. It's a random number. It's 2d4 plus 2. And remember, in 5th edition, you never go below 0 hit points. So everyone who's unconscious is at 0. So they'll just add whatever hit points right to 0 to wake up.
Right.
You can also perform a medicine check to try and stabilize someone. That's also a possibility. But there's a chance for failure there, whereas with a healing potion, you're sure that you'll heal them and stabilize.
Okay. Who are the two that are out?
Zira and Mina, the tiefling
Okay.
paladin and the tiefling sorcerer.
This is so hard.
All
I
right.
guess I'm gonna choose the paladin because they're stronger.
Indeed. Roll 2d4 plus 2, or the paladin can roll 2d4 plus 2, and you gain back that much. Morella, it's your turn. What would you like to do? As Icky moves over to Mina and is forcing this healing potion that she grabbed from Zira's pouch down Mina's throat.
Can I make a medicine check? See if
Definitely.
I can do something?
Go ahead and make your medicine check.
Oh, no! That's a 1.
A 1. Oh, well, thankfully you can't make it any worse. So so you don't stabilize Zira, but it is Mina, it's your turn. You are woken up. You're awake. You see Zira bleeding to death on the ground. And would you like
To lay on hands.
lay on hands at the divine light?
Yay!
The divine
I made the
light.
right choice.
The divine light of Lyra. How many hit points do you get?
I guess I'll just give her all. I'll give her all 10.
Okay, you gain 10 HP as you wake up, Zira. You guys are able to basically free the prisoners here. You're also able to find a key that opens up the other room. Unfortunately, we're going to have to come to a close. I will show you guys what the other room looks like. Inside is the person that you're looking for is Verzella. And you're able to free her, of course. She's just in another cage inside this room. You guys had quite the time doing this, and there are dead drow here. But by the time you get back from freeing Drizella from her cage, it looks like both the drow have been eaten, and the drake dog, the red drake, has run off into the sewers somewhere. Is no longer found.
Come be my friend.
You're able to free both the elf and the tiefling. The elven woman is a member of the Order of the Gauntlet. She is a guide and a tracker, and she is very, very thankful to you that you freed her. The tiefling male, his name is Raz Tallfang, and he is a traveler who's recently come to Waterdeep to make his fortune. He seems very interested in you guys. The 7 of you, the 4 of you plus the 3 prisoners that you were able to free, go back to Madame Fiona's tea kettle, where you're able to have some tea and some brandy, and you're able to just rest and recuperate. But effectively, you've done very well. You've been able to save who you were looking for. You fought off some drow, and you're able to save some other prisoners that looks like they were being tortured here. The female elf is able to tell you that drow hate other elves, and that's probably why she was being tortured so badly. And the tiefling, he gets the sense that they were trying to make him go insane or something. You guys have done a great job. You all get 10 gold pieces. The last thing, the everlasting thankfulness of Dorg Snapsnoot and Drizella Snapsnoot to Tinkerer Gnomes, who it seems like they might be able to make things for you or help you out in the future. You definitely have started to make your social network here in Water. So, thank you all so much for playing. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to do this. To remind everyone who's watching and who may be watching, is BerlingsBeard. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on my own website of the same name. I am a concierge for hire DM in the New York City area. You can hire me to run your games. I'm also going to be doing some online games for hire. But I love this crew. I'd love to keep playing with this crew. You guys are awesome. I'm just going to go around and maybe have you guys. Jenna, maybe you want to say an outro, but I just want to say thank you so much, Adrian, Icky. Thank you so much, Jenna, Morella. Thank you so much, Charlie, Mina, and thank you so much, Adrian, who is playing as the awesome Zira. You guys will.
Diana was Zira.
I apologize. Diana.
Adrian Icky.
Sorry, Adrian Icky. Sorry.
I had 2 roles today. No, that was a lot. That was a lot. Great job.
Yeah, great job, everybody. Oh my god.
Yes.
Just 3 quick announcements. I did make a new emote for our Twitch, but it's still pending, so it's not really available yet. But that goes into my other announcement. That big project I've been working on, all those art streams I've been doing, it's technically tomorrow, but it is technically our 1-year anniversary as Sister Slay and Lady Gamer Slay.
Shut up!
A whole year without killing each other.
Wow.
Possibly Jazz, but we haven't gotten there yet. But through the stream, let me see if this will pop up for somebody. But on our Twitch stream, I just put up a big banner, and it's basically a combination of all of the artwork that I've done. It's our big anniversary artwork that I've made, and I wrote a little poem on it. It just simply says, "Through laughter and sorrow, we've kept our composure, but we have yet to meet Count Strahd, so our story is far from over. Thank you for sticking with us through our first year of adventures. Signed, Sister Slay," with our brand new logo that I made for Sister Slay.
Yay! Awesome.
And third announcement, new link down below this video on Twitch. We officially have a merch store now. there's a couple things in there, but I'm still working on more things for that. One of them being, I was asking for advice on pirate flags, and I made Janaga a tiefling pirate flag. There's shirts and merch with our Sister Slay logo on it, and there is also a shirt of our anniversary design that I've made. So
Jenna, I didn't even know this.
I kept it a secret. I wanted it to be a surprise. I was hoping for Mandy and Adam to join us for this, but unfortunately they couldn't. But I'll let them know after the stream is done. But
this is so cool.
But if anybody else has anything to say, go ahead right now.
The last thing I have to say is thank you to Sean Merwin, who wrote this.
Yes.
Used it. It originally is called Deviance and Flan. You can find it on the DMs Guild for purchase. It's a really awesome adventure. It came out a few years ago, and I really love it. So it's actually 5 adventures in one, all set around Madame Friona's tea kettle.
That's awesome. I loved this whole adventure.
It's
Good.
really
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you. Good. Well, I enjoyed playing with you guys, and hopefully.
Yes, thank you
Yes,
so much,
yes.
Diana, for being our guest player with us. And thank you so much, Ken, for being our first ever special guest DM. You did an amazing job. We hope to have you back again for another DM job with us.
Great. Thanks. And thanks to everybody who watching and who really appreciate it.
Yeah, all right.
Yes,
So,
this was great.
yeah, this was probably the best one shot we've done. This was so fun. We were water deep. It was so cool. So if that's it, then I'm just gonna say goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.